Hello, good morning. Hello everyone, this is Shailaja and we are reading the book called as The Magic of Thinking Big. How are you all doing? Yesterday's read was amazing, isn't it? That get the action habit. And we will continue to learn that how do we start acting rather than just thinking about certain thing, right? And today we are on day 18 and we will continue with the same lesson. But we will learn some technique which will make our brain or our body into action mode rather than just a thought. Okay? So, yeah, great. So, we read certain example of people who were just thinking, and then there were people who were doing, right? So the point is clear. People who get things done in this world don't wait for the spirit to move them, they move the spirit. Try these two exercises. First, use the mechanical way to accomplish simple but sometimes unpleasant business and household chores. Rather than think about the unpleasant features of the task, jump right in and get going without a lot of deliberation. Perhaps the most unpleasant household task to most women is washing dishes. My mother is no exception, but she has mastered a mechanical approach to dispensing with this task quickly so she can return to things she likes to do. As she leaves the table, she always mechanically picks up several dishes and without thinking about the task ahead, just gets started. In just a few minutes, she is through. Doesn't this beat stacking dishes and dreading the unpleasant inevitable? Do this today. Pick the one thing you like to do least, then, without letting yourself deliberate on or dread the task. Do it. That's the most efficient way to handle chores. And most of the time, we do this while doing the exercise, correct? Second, next, use the mechanical way to create ideas, map out plans, solve problems, and do other work that requires top mental performance. Rather than wait for the spirit to move you, sit down and move your spirit. Here is a special technique guaranteed to help you. Use a pencil and a paper. A simple pencil is the greatest concentration tool money can buy. If I had to choose between an ultra fancy, deeply carpeted, beautifully decorated, soundproof office and a pencil and paper, I would choose the pencil and paper every time. With a pencil and paper, you can tie your mind to a problem. When you write a thought on paper, your full attention is automatically focused on that thought. That's because the mind is not designed to think one thought and write another at the same time. And when you write on paper, you write on your mind too. Tests prove conclusively that you remember something much longer and much more exactly if you write the thought on paper. And once you master the pencil and paper technique for concentration, you can think in noisy or other distracting situations. When you want to think, start writing or doodling or diagramming. It's an excellent way to move your spirit. Now, the magic word of success. Now is the magic word of the success. Now is the magic word of success. Tomorrow, next week, later, sometime, someday, often, as not are synonyms for the failure word never. Lots of good dreams never come true because we say, I will start someday, when we should say, I will start now, right now. Take one example, saving money. Just about everybody agrees that saving money is a good idea. But just because it's a good idea doesn't mean many folks follow an organized savings and investment program. Many people have intentions to save, but only relatively few act on these intentions. Here is how one young couple got into gear with a regular wealth accumulation program. Bill's take home income was $1,000 a month, but he and his wife Janet spent $1,000 each month too. Both wanted to save, but there were always reasons why they felt they couldn't begin. For years, they had promised themselves, we will start when we get a raise, when we have caught up with our installments, when we are over the hump next month, next year. Finally, Janet got disgusted with their failure to save. She said to Bill, look, do we want to save or don't we? He replied, of course we do. But you know as well as I, we can't put aside anything now. But for once, Janet was in a do or die mood. We have been telling ourselves for years we are going to start a saving program. We don't save because we think we can't. Now let's start thinking we can. I saw an old I saw an ad today that shows if we would save just $100 a month in 15 years we would have $18,000 plus $6,600 accumulated interest. The ad also said it's easier to spend what's left over after saving than it is to save what's left over after spending. If you are game, let's start with 10% of your pay and let's save off the top. We may eat crackers and milk before the month's up, but if we have to, we will. Bill and Janet were cramped for a few months, but soon they were adjusted to their new budget. Now they feel it's just as much fun to spend money on saving as it is to spend it on something else. Want to write a note to a friend? Do it now. Got an idea you think would help your business? Present it now. Live the advice of Benjamin Franklin. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Remember, thinking in terms of now gets things accomplished, but thinking in terms of someday or sometime usually means failure. One day, I stopped in I stopped in to see an old business friend. She had just returned from a conference with several of her executives. The moment I looked at her, I could tell there was something she wanted to get off her chest. She had the look of a woman who had suffered real disappointment. She said, I called the conference this morning because I wanted some help on a proposed policy change. But what kind of help did I get? I had six men in there, and only one of them had anything to contribute. Two others talked, but what they said was just an echo of what I had said. It was like talking with a bunch of vegetables. I confess, it's hard for me to find out what those fellows think. Really, she went on. You would think those fellows would speak up and let me know what they think. After all, it directly affects each of them. My friend didn't get help in the conference, but had you roamed the hall after the meeting broke up, you would have heard her junior's associate making remarks like, I felt like saying, why didn't someone suggest, I don't think we ought to go ahead. So often, the vegetables, those who have nothing to say in the conference room, are full of talk after the meeting. When what they have got to say won't make any difference, They are suddenly full of life when it's too late. Business executives want comment. The fellow who hides his light under the bushel hurts himself. Get the speak up habit. Each time you speak up, you strengthen yourself. Come forward with your constructive ideas. We all know how many college students prepare their assignments with five intentions. Joe College sets aside a whole evening for some concentrated study. Here is a general pattern of how too often the evening is spent. Joe's ready to begin studying at 7 pm, but his dinner seems just a bit heavy, so he decides to get in a TV, a little TV. A little turns out to be an hour worth since the program was pretty good. At 8 pm, he sits down at his desk but gets right back up because he just remembered he promised to call his girl. This shoots another 40 minutes. He hadn't talked to her all day. An incoming call takes another 20 minutes. On his way back to his desk, Joe, Joe is drawn into a ping pong game. Another hour gone. The ping pong makes him feel sweaty, so he takes shower. Next, he needs a snack. The combined effect of the ping pong and the shower have made him hungry. And so the evening planned with good intention drifts away. Finally, at 1 am, he opens the book, but he is too sleepy to absorb the subject. Finally, he surrenders completely. Next morning, he tells the professor, I hope you give me a break. I studied till 2 am for this exam. Joe College didn't get into action because he spent too much time getting ready to get into action. And Joe College isn't alone in being a victim of overpreparedness. Joe salesman, Joe executive, Joe professional worker, Josephine, housewife, they all often try to build strength and get ready with office chats, coffee breaks, sharpening pencils, reading, personal business, getting the desk cleared off, TV, and dozens of other little escape device. But there's a way to break this habit. Tell yourself, I am in condition right now to begin. I can't gain a thing by putting it off. I will use the get ready time and energy to get going instead. What we want more than anything else in our business, an executive in a machine tool company said in an address to a group of sales executives, is more people who get sound ideas and then push them through. There's not one job in our production and marketing setup that can't be done better, a lot better. I don't want to infer that we are not doing a good job now. We are. But like all progressive companies, we need new products, new markets, new and more efficient ways of doing things. We depend on people with initiative. They are the ball carriers on our team. Initiative is a special kind of action. It's doing something worthwhile without being told to do it. The person with initiative has a standing invitation to join the high income brackets in every business and profession. The director of marketing research in a medium sized drug manufacturing firm told me how he got to be a director of marketing research. It's a good lesson in the power of initiative. 5 years ago, I got an idea. He told me I was working then, as a sort of missionary salesman, calling on wholesalers, I discovered that one thing we lacked was facts about the consumers we wanted to buy or our drug line. I talked about the need for market research to everyone here. At first, I got only deaf ears because management couldn't see the need of it. I was pretty much obsessed with the idea of marketing research in our company. So I sort of took the bull by the horns. I asked and got permission to prepare a monthly report on facts of drug marketing. I collected information from every source I could find. I kept on with this, and pretty soon, management and other salesmen found themselves really interested in what I was doing. Just 1 year after I started crusading for research, I was relieved of my regular duties and asked to concentrate on developing my ideas. The rest, he continued, was just natural development. Now, I have got two assistants, a secretary, and about three times the yearly income I had 5 years ago. Here are two special exercises for developing the initiative habit. First, be a crusader. When you see something that you believe ought to be done, pick up the ball and run. A new subdivision not far from where I live was about two-thirds built when expansion came almost to stand still. A few families with a don't care attitude had moved in. This prompted several of the finest families in the area to sell their homes at a loss and move on. As so often happens, the do care families caught the don't care attitude from the don't care neighbors. Everyone, that is, except Harry L. Harry did care, and he decided to crusade for a fine neighborhood. Harry began by calling together some friends. He pointed out that this subdivision had tremendous potential, but that something must be done now or the area would soon be strictly second class neighborhood. Harry's enthusiasm and initiative quickly won support. Soon they were clean up the vacant lots project. Garden clubs were organized, a massive tree planting project was started, a playground was built for the youngsters, a community swimming pool was constructed. The Don't Care families became eager supporters. The whole subdivision took on new life and new sparkle. It's really a pleasure now to drive through that community. It shows what a crusader can do. Do you feel your business should develop a new department, make a new product, or in some other way expand? Well, then crusade for it. Feel your church needs a new building? Crusade for it. Would you like your children's school to have better equipment? Crusade and get it for them. And you can bank on this. While crusades may start out as one man crusades, if the idea behind the enterprise is good, soon you will have lots of support. Be an activationist and crusade. Second, be a volunteer. Each of us has been in situation in which we wanted to volunteer for some activity but we didn't. Why? Because of fear. Not fear that we couldn't accomplish the task, but rather fear of what our associates would say. The fear of being laughed at, of being called an eager beaver, of being accused of bucking for a raise holds many people back. It's natural to want to belong, to be accepted, to have group approval. But ask yourself, which group do I want to have accept me? The group that laughs because it is secretly jealous, or the group that is making progress by doing things? The right choice is obvious. The volunteer stands out. He receives special attention. Most important of all, he gives himself an opportunity to show he has special ability and ambition by volunteering. By all means, volunteer for those special assignments. Think about the leaders you know in business, the military, your community. Do they fit the description of activationist, or would you say they are passivationist? 10 times out of 10, they are activationist, people who do things. The fellow who stands on the sidelines, who holds off, who is passive, does not lead, but the doer, the fellow who thinks action, finds others want to follow him. People place confidence in the fellow who acts. They naturally resume they naturally assume he knows what he's doing. I have never heard anyone complimented and praised because he doesn't disturb anyone, he doesn't take action, or he waits until he's told what to do. Have you? Grow the action habit. Practice these key points. First, be an activationist. Be someone who does things. Be a doer, not a don'ter. Don't wait until conditions are perfect. They never will be. Expect future obstacles and difficulties and solve them as they arise. Remember, ideas alone won't bring success. Ideas have value only when you act upon them. Fourth, use action to cure fear and gain confidence. Do what you fear and fear disappears. Just try it and see. Fifth, start your mental engine mechanically. Don't wait for the spirit to move you. Take action, dig in, and you move the spirit. Sixth, think in terms of now. Tomorrow, next week, later, and similar words often are synonymous with the failure word never. But an I am starting right now kind of person. Be an I am starting right now kind of person. Seventh, get down to business. Pronto. Don't waste time getting ready to act. Start acting instead. Eighth, seize the initiative. Be a crusader. Pick up the ball and run. Be a volunteer. Show that you have the ability and ambition to do. Super. So we are done with today's read and a lot of learning because we know that action will bring success, just thought will not, and we want to become a doer and not just think about that we will do it someday. So I know a lot of people who have been thinking of doing lot of things, but someday. So I know that they are procrastinating, and to get rid of procrastination is take action now. So if you are one of them and if you feel that I also have been procrastinating a lot of things, let's sit today with pen and paper and make our brain work and take action immediately. Okay, with this, we end our call today and we will meet again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Bye bye. Have a nice day.